DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code PUNTER when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
And as always, please bet responsibly, only with money you can afford to lose. One of the things you can wager on is who's going to win these divisions, the AFC South. They are bunched together, and this is amazing because the Colts were running away with it. The Colts were going to be the first team to clinch. The Colts were going to clinch by Thanksgiving. Hell, they were going to clinch by Halloween, Devin. And then, the Jaguars had that Week 5 Monday night signature win over the Chiefs, and then it all kind of started to fall apart, and the Texans were kind of just like, they're 3-5. Well, don't look now. Jaguars are 4-1 since their bye. Texans have won 4 in a row. Colts have lost 3 out of 4, and they're all jumbled together. The Jaguars technically in first place on tiebreakers. They still play the Colts twice. That'll go a long way toward breaking the tie and supplying the tiebreakers. Texans are looming. Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. They go back there this weekend. That is an amazing stat to me because the Jaguars are no juggernaut. And for one team in the division to be unable to win there for that long, this isn't like the Lions haven't won at Lambeau Field since 1990 or whatever the streak was. It's Jacksonville. It's the Jaguars. You can't, they've been bad more often than they've been good, far more often than they've been good, and they haven't been good. They haven't bad. When they're bad, they're bad. So it's a hell of a race that we did not expect. We thought it was going to be Colts wire to wire, and Colts just sitting back with their T-shirts and hats. AFC South champions, waiting to see who they were going to play in the playoffs.
And it's crazy to think about because for Houston, everybody knows C.J. Stroud missed a couple games, but that wasn't the reason we wrote Houston off. Houston wasn't playing well when C.J. Stroud was out there. And it kind of turned into, man, maybe this team just doesn't have what we thought it had to be able to be competitive in this division. And now we look up and we're like, man, they're one game out. How did we get here? And I think when we look at these 3 teams, if you said, hey, which team has something that you love and you bank on the most, I think right now it's the Houston Texans defense. If we had to pick something, we would say that's the best unit out of anything these 3 teams do. The thing with all 3 teams is there's deficiencies that we can say, hey, this is why they might not win the division, or this is why they might not win. You feel that way about each team. So it's so hard to even pick down the stretch of who you like the most, because as much as you love the Texans defense, you're like, well, will they score enough points to win? Dang, will Trevor Lawrence avoid the disaster plays enough to beat a team? Can the Indianapolis Colts win a game where Jonathan Taylor doesn't have 100 yards and a touchdown? Can they be productive? So with all those things said, it's so hard to pick. And I think for me, if I had to put my hat on something right now, I would say I would take the Houston Texans and believe that C.J. Stroud will figure something out enough to go win a game, because we watched him win a wild card playoff games. We watched him do that. So, and I think their defense is even better this year than they've been the last few years. So I would tend to say I like the Houston Texans the most out of those 3 teams, but it really is a toss-up.
The Texans have the more recent championship pedigree. They had that turnaround that started 2 years ago when they won the division. They won it again last year. They won playoff games at home each of the last 2 years when they were underdogs in both games, first to the Browns and then to the Chargers. So I look at those odds, plus 140 for both the Jaguars and the Colts and plus 320 for the Texans. And again, I only advocate wagering as entertainment, only with money that would otherwise be devoted to cigarettes and booze, or illicit drugs if, you're into that. But the Texans of the 3, if you're looking for value, and I never want to be touting bets. I refuse to tout bets. I refuse to do that. You make your own decisions. I pick games because it's fun. But I'm not going to say, go buy the, that's, plus 320 looks pretty good to me, boss. But I'd say of those three, I'm with you. I think the Texans. The defense, the coaching, the quarterback, and the recent history. I think they find a way. They started 0-3 and they've gone 7-2. They're finding a way before our very eyes. And I think what happens is when a team starts off slowly, we kind of like develop this sense that they're done. Like we want to simplify our lives. Like and I don't know if this applies when you're a fan, but I think when you work in this business, it's like throwing stuff out of a balloon basket. We got enough to think about. The sooner we can write that team off, then we can focus on the teams that are actually contenders. And what happens is sometimes we prematurely throw a team out of the balloon basket, and they got to fight to get back in. And now the Texans are fully and completely back in. And yeah, I think they can pull it off. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.